Okay, good evening, everyone. I'm Brad Joya, and I have prepared a brief overview of MBA and some issues I wanted to reinforce and topics I would have touched on had we been meeting in person. This is one of the many Zoom meetings I've done in the last month, and not the first time I've had 100 or so people on a meeting like this. We met with our faculty about a week and a half ago, and so we had about 142 people on that call. I'm sorry we're not meeting in person, just because it would have been so nice to see all of you together and to be together. But I wanted to do this event mainly to express our enthusiasm for your being at the school and to reinforce together some topics that I thought, as I said, would be important for you and your sons and for us as a community. If we had been meeting at school, you would have heard me speak at the beginning of the program, just as I'm about to do. I would have said that I like to start meetings on time. It's one of my conventions because I value people's time, and I like to be prompt, and I like to set a tone that all of us being together on time is important as a community. You would have heard following me comments from Dr. Boyd and Mr. Sawyer and Mr. Tips and Mrs. Stewart and Mr. Farrell. And all of them have expressed words to you by video or by phone. And we all very much want to see you in person. Those people I just named are important people in terms of introducing the school to you and at various levels in the high school and in the junior school, our 7th and 8th grades. We're proud of this class of new students coming into MBA. The lion's share of our students come in the 7th grade, but the biggest entry points are the 7th and 9th grades. We typically have 5 to 7 students or so come in the 8th grade, and a few students sometimes in the 10th and the 11th grades. They're typically people that have moved into Nashville. This year, we have 123 young men coming into the 7th grade. We have 6 young men coming into the 8th grade, 23 coming into the 9th, and 3 coming into the 11th grade. These students are coming from 49 different schools, 25 public schools, and 23 private schools, and 1 homeschool. They represent 32 different postal codes, and they're coming from 6 different states and 2 foreign countries. MBA had a yield this year of 87% of its accepted students. To give you some context, I looked up Harvard's acceptance and yield rate right before this meeting. It was 81%. That tells you a little bit about the competitive nature and the fact that people really know that MBA is a place they're very interested in and want to be there once they're accepted. A topic that I talk about probably more than any other topic is school culture. I'll say that culture in a family, in a business, in a school may in fact be the most important aspect of those entities. And at MBA, what I cherish, and I think the boys cherish, is that there are very few walls between students that are involved in mock trial and wrestling or chorus and lacrosse or robotics and track and orchestra. And in fact, it is often a source of pride if a boy is involved in orchestra and football. And if you'd seen our most recent magazine, the cover featured boys singing the national anthem in their football uniforms and in coat and tie, to suggest that we think that harmony, that sense of crossing all the boundaries, make for a much better community. If you live in a community and you respect everyone for what he does and not necessarily for just what you're interested in, it's a much better community. And I think the boys at the school are very aware of that culture and now are protective of it. And I think it's important for me to pass that on, sort of as one passes on the values and traditions of a family. Uh, the range of people that care about the school would be, of course, our alumni, which number 3,000 to 4,000, our parents, 700 or so families, and incidentally, there are just about 800, a few more students at MBA next year. There are about 250 students in the 7th and 8th grades, and there are about 550 students in the 9th through 12th grades. The faculty and staff, which number about 150. Our students, as I just said, just over 800. And then the friends and the neighbors. And we value living in a neighborhood at MBA. And we also think it's important to tell our new families that they're entering a neighborhood when they come to school. And the more we build good relations with that neighborhood, the better our whole community is. MBA was established in 1867. Its roots go back a little bit farther than that. And we're proud of the 153 years and next year's 154th year. But honestly, I'm much more interested in what's going to happen in the next 4 to 6 years with your sons, and how we can build upon the tremendous traditions and strengths and values that we've been given together. The sense of opportunity at MBA is something that we have built a lot together. For example, there are these amazing Wilson grants that are available for 7th through 11th graders that provide summer experiences where students can travel and enroll in programs all around this country and frankly around the world. And the school pays for that experience. We invest about $1 million in students each year to go on these grants. And then the school has developed a network of relationships with schools around the world. So there's a very diverse and strong exchange program at the school. And we have students that come from all corners of the world. Obviously, that's been a sad part of this time period, but we see a light at the end of this tunnel, and we're hoping we'll be back together with our friends from Australia and New Zealand and South Africa and England and South America. Literally, it stretches across all the continents except for Antarctica. Student achievement is really important to us at MBA, and it's not student achievement in a particular area. It's every area. We're just as proud to recognize someone who's done a valuable work in the service field, or has performed well on test, or in the area of music, or athletics, or mock trial, or math, or science, or debate. This year, and frankly for the last 3 to 4 years, we've probably had the best debate program in the country. And for me, the value of a school that has a program as strong as debate, where the students know and the faculty know those debaters work just as hard and frankly longer than the students that practice football or lacrosse in the summer, or basketball in addition to the school year. And that bookends the culture of the school to say both are really important, and not one thing is important. It's all important. And as I said earlier, we love to see students have multi-interest and multi-involvement. And so it's very important to me to say to all of you that we'd love to push your sons to achieve in ways that are important to them, and we're going to respect that achievement regardless of the area that they're involved in. And there are so many interesting realms to think about. I had a fascinating conversation with the parent of a graduate this morning about the current environment. He was saying how critical it would be for students to study science and economics and think about the issues related to the endemic we're in, the pandemic we're in, and how people are talking about opening the country up. And we want students to be part of that intellectual development and curiosity. And we think that's important for MBA. One of the programs that has been centrally important to me in my experience at the school, next year will be my 27th year at MBA, and this program I've spent a lot of time helping build with others, is the advisory program. The first thing a student does when he comes to school in the morning after he's visiting with teachers or friends or having breakfast. So, a routine at the school might be for a family to drop their student off early in the morning because they have to go to work or have some commitment. And that student literally at 6:30 to 7 could go to the dining hall and he could eat breakfast. And then he could go see a teacher by 7:30 and get some extra help. But at 7:50 every morning, they meet with an advisor. And that is like a small family. In the 7th and 8th grades, it's mixed with both groups. So it could be 5 or so 7th graders and 5 8th graders. In the high school, it's typically mixed with the 4 grades. So I have an advisory with about 12 students and 2 to 3 students or so in each of the grades are part of that advisory this year. And I know these students really well. And if you translate that sort of ideal to the workplace, for example, and the first thing you did every morning was meet with a small family, it creates a sense of unity and a sense of home and a sense of place that becomes really important. And it's, as I said, a way in which your sons get to know people intimately. They get to know people in other grades well, and create some important leadership and development through that grouping. Your sons will all have a big brother, someone to kind of help them navigate MBA this next year. Those are assigned this summer. It's a good way to begin to build a friendship, and it's a two-way street. So it's important for you to talk to your sons about building that relationship, as well as for the older student to help you navigate the school. There are 3 campuses at MBA, to remind you, and I'll emphasize some issues about 2 of those campuses. There's the main campus on Harding Road, where we have about 50 acres. There's another campus in the Sylvan Park area of about 10 acres, primarily playing fields. And then there's a mountain campus about an hour and a half from school at a place called Long Mountain, not far from McMinnville, Tennessee. So you go down 24 and you take a left where the McMinnville signs are, and you travel another 30 to 40 minutes and you come to our 200-acre campus. In the past year, we have done a lot of work at 2 of those campuses. The Harding Road campus, where we've been building the Wellness Center, and the Long Mountain campus, where we've just completed building some cabins and some yurts and a new outdoor area that will provide space for students to play basketball, to have some covering, to gather for meetings. We built a fireplace as part of it. So it'll be a beautiful pavilion that will be part of that campus. Now, that campus also has a lake on it, and hiking trails, and an observatory. So students that are interested in art can also go up there to enjoy painting and drawing, or you can go up to study astronomy, or you can go up to hike. It is going to be a tremendous area, and this new group of students coming into MBA will probably enjoy that campus more than any other so far, because we now have the cabins and students can spend the night up there. And so this will be, and that hasn't happened yet, it's just about finished. On the main campus, we've been building this wellness center, which is about a 200,000 square foot building. It is supposed to be completed in December. So you will be the beneficiaries of a lot of hard work that's gone into thinking about the campus, and not just in terms of a building, but thinking about concepts that are really critical in today's educational world and personal world, the concept of wellness and keeping one healthy emotionally, psychologically, physically. We know this is an important topic for the school, and you're going to hear a whole lot more about this as this building develops and we all enjoy it on the campus. A number of our students, as I've already indicated, are coming from some public schools, and they have been without some remote work, a number of them, and they've asked us to get them information about topics like our summer reading. So Mr. Farrell and the English department and I quickly made sure you had that information, but it'd be good for me to reinforce with all of you that that's an important topic to mention to your sons. We also have an all-school read every year, and it's a book that we like for our parents to think about reading, as well as our faculty and staff and our students. This year's book is the classic by Mary Shelley, Frankenstein. And you might think that it's a book that might not have a lot of relevance to today's world, but in fact it really does. The book came at the intersection of the industrial age and the scientific age and the age of the romantics, where developed monsters and dreams. And we live in an age now where there are serious questions about artificial intelligence. Not a very different issue than the character of Frankenstein. So we hope that you'll participate in the summer reading and also think about ways that you can be involved in MBA this summer. We're uncertain about how much time we'll have on the campus this summer at this point. It's an issue I'll address at the very end of this meeting. The last topic that I highlighted is the topic of community. First, on a very practical level, I wanted to emphasize with all of you that you have emails now for MBA. Your sons do, and you do. And this can connect you to the community in a very tangible way now. For example, you will probably get, now that the director of technology, Mark Artis, and I talked, you will probably get the virtual father-son event, which is going out tomorrow morning. We have a wonderful father-son event every year. We were unable to have it this year because of the coronavirus. And we decided, let's go ahead and have a version of that. So you will, if you tune in tomorrow morning, you could do it. A father and son, for example, that was our vision, could sit down at breakfast or dinner or lunch and listen to 6 boys talk about their relationships, these are seniors, with their fathers. It's a very instructive time to think about, what is the relationship between a father and a son? How do you develop that relationship in authentic ways? What are important topics to think about? And to hear boys talk to boys about those topics, particularly younger boys who feel comfortable, the older boys feel comfortable talking about how they love their dad, how they're honest and open with their dad about all sorts of subjects. These are very important parts of the MBA education. And just so you don't think we leave the moms out, and the moms are very involved at MBA. They're on the campus all the time, and we welcome that. The mothers, there'll be a mother-son event next week, which is very similar to what I just described in the father-son event, where senior boys will be talking about the relationship between their mother and them. So you are now part of that MBA community through email and through a lot of those resources. But more importantly, I wanted to finish by saying, being part of a community and team typically means you're part of something that's bigger than yourself. And that often means that you pride yourself on giving to a bigger entity. It's really critical that you not just think about yourself, but you think about others in a way that's selfless and meaningful. And we think about that in terms of our families and mothers and fathers being part of the campus. And we have both a mothers and fathers club. And when I came to MBA 26 years ago, I thought that was somewhat unusual. Being used to a parents club, as probably some of you are used to from your previous schools. But honestly, I see a whole lot more fathers on the campus because of the Fathers Club, and I see that as a good thing. And I see that sense of building that community as a really important part of the school. As I see it and believe, whether you are from Bellevue or you are from Belle Meade, it doesn't matter to any of us at MBA. whether you're from Bordeaux or Antioch or Green Hills, it doesn't matter. It's your contribution to the community and your hard work and your effort. And some of you are coming from New York or California or Texas or Canada or Japan this year. And I think one of the most important things I can leave you with is that I hope that you'll reach out to others and make them feel comfortable. Introduce yourselves to us. You're all new. Most of you are new, I should say. And we want to get to know you, and we want to build that community. And that's why I left that piece to the very end. If I had to summarize the most important topics tonight, it would be that sense of culture and community that I hope you'll help us build. So I'm going to close this now and say thanks for getting on. I wanted to speak for about 20 or so minutes. I am always available through email or other channels of communication, as are Dr. Boyd, who's reached out to you all already, or Mr. Sawyer, or Mr. Tips, or Ms. Stewart, or Mr. Farrell. So thank you very much for being with us tonight. We've recorded this so that those who couldn't get on will get a chance to view it. And I hope to see you all. I'll say one last thing. I meant to talk a little bit about the summer. On Monday, we'll know what we'll at least hope for this summer. It's probably unlikely we'll have much activity in the month of June, but we're hoping we will in July. We are certainly hoping we'll start school on time. And if we have to go to any remote learning, we hope it'll be minimal next year, because we know that the on-campus face-to-face time is the most important part in so many respects of the education at school. And we want to see you on campus and be with you. And we thank you for your being part of MBA, and look forward to seeing you all sometime soon. Thanks very much.